If you remember last week, we spent all of our time together in the first 2 verses of Romans 12, being challenged to be transformed in both body and mind, to let our bodies be a living sacrifice, not thinking solely about what we want for ourselves, but putting all of our energy and our resources at God's disposal and trusting Him to guide us. And then to let God transform us into new people by changing the way we think, and to do both of these things because of what God has done for us, because He gave us His Son to give us new life. Those first 2 verses went on to say that in doing this, when we put God first, that is the way to truly worship God. It takes both the body and the mind, but this isn't the only place where it calls for both body and mind. Way back in the book of Jeremiah, we studied it BC, before COVID. In chapter 31, God said through Jeremiah, He would put His instructions deep within them, and He would write them upon their hearts. No longer would His laws be written in stone, but they would be within the very being of His people. It was about having a relationship. That's exactly what we were talking about, what we are talking about now. That's when we truly know God as our God and understand that we are His people. No more are we armchair quarterbacks, merely observing, and no longer will we be willing to check our brains at the door, as Josh McDowell wrote about in his book. When we let our bodies and our brains work together in synchrony, then we are truly worshiping God. Matthew 22 and Deuteronomy 6 say it like this: we are to love the Lord our God with all our heart, soul, and mind, and strength. All that points to doing, to interacting with others, and through our knowledge and guidance, point those people then to God. It's not always an easy thing to do, but God has given each of us gifts to use in the process, and that's where we will know the truth and know God's will for our lives. What we are to do, and that's what we're going to pick up on today in verses 3 through 8 of chapter 12. Listen now for the word of the Lord. Because of the privilege and authority God has given me, I give each of you this warning. Don't think you are better than you really are. Be honest in your evaluation of yourself, measuring yourselves by the faith God has given us. Just as our bodies have many parts, and each part has a special function, so it is with Christ's body. We are many parts of one body, and we all belong to each other. In His grace, God has given us different gifts for doing certain things well. So if God has given you the ability to prophesy, speak out with as much faith as God has given you. If your gift is serving others, serve them well. If you are a teacher, teach well. If your gift is to encourage others, be encouraging. If it is giving, give generously. If God has given you the leadership ability, take that responsibility seriously. And if you have a gift for showing kindness to others, do it gladly.